UHD quality video streaming, internet like a boss. SLT Mobitel Fiber. UHD quality video streaming, internet like a boss. SLT Mobitel Fiber.
රින් වෙළඳපොලේ අඩුම මිලකට රුපියල් 180යි.
Tonight, leaps and bounds. November 2021 export earnings hit a historic record of 1.2 billion US dollars. Embracing the tech, Sri Lanka set to transform public services with future digital wallet.
The purpose of digital wallet is get all citizen-centric services under one belt. This is a wallet with total comprehensive information or services.
Staring you in the face, the Public Utilities Commission says no power cuts until Thursday as renewable energy experts say the solution is obvious.
That's why we are also asking the same question from the government. When the solution is here, why not implement it?
Keep it on. Local climate researchers warn the public to keep their masks on due to air quality concerns.
The inhaled particles can reside on your lungs. It can cause various problems to your respiratory system and problems in blood circulation also.
All that and much more coming up on First at 9 this Tuesday, the 25th of January 2022.
Inguru Karadumungu Tulsi Saha Kuruntuwale Hakunen Laochi Ginger Plus.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening, welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammike Kanaka. Now, among a host of cabinet decisions announced today is a state-sponsored program to provide compensation for farmers who might incur a loss during the Maha season. In addition, the cabinet has also given permission for the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation to enter into an agreement with a private company, allowing it to purchase locally produced diluents for medication. The move is expected to save an annual cost of 15 million US dollars for the government. Now, with that, let's take a look at what other decisions are made by the cabinet this week.
A host of decisions taken by the Cabinet was announced today during its weekly Cabinet media briefing held this morning. Among them was the decision to go ahead with a high-rise development project at COTTA Road in Rajagiriya, on land that currently belongs to the Urban Development Authority. After calling for investment proposals, the Cabinet has approved the awarding of the project on a long-term lease to LOL's Investment Holdings 2 Private Limited on a design, construction, financing, monitoring and transfer basis. Further, the government's proposed paddy purchasing program for the 2021-2022 Maha season also received the cabinet go-ahead. However, in addition to the guaranteed government purchase price, it has also approved the payment of 25 rupees per kilogram of paddy to affected farmers in case of low harvest yields. Meanwhile, the cabinet also gave the nod for an agreement between the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation and the Cologne Life Sciences Private Limited to enter into an agreement to locally produce sterile liquid, small volume parenteral injectables. The project will see a facility being set up in Pallekele to produce up to 50 million injections and could see the government save an estimated 15 million US dollars annually. In addition, the cabinet also gave the go-ahead for proposals submitted by the Ministers of Defence and Justice to amend the country's Drug-Dependent Persons Treatment and Rehabilitation Act No. 54 of 2007 and upgrade it to suit present requirements. In the meantime, approval was granted for the Minister of Finance to sign 3 double taxation agreements with India, Turkey and the Czech Republic, which will be presented for parliamentary approval.
The Public Utilities Commission today gave assurance to the people that there will be no power cuts until at least the 27th of January, as the Ceylon Electricity Board has the necessary fuel and furnace oil to generate electricity until then. It also noted that the decision on any power cuts will be made after considering the fuel and furnace oil supply situation of the CEB.
Steps were taken yesterday by the government to secure the necessary fuel needed by the Ceylon Electricity Board to operate power plants without any interruptions. With that, Minister of Power Gamini Lokuge offered assurances that power cuts will not happen yesterday. However, the Ceylon Electricity Board says that this situation can only be maintained for the next 2 to 3 days. And the Public Utilities Commission corroborated this by issuing an official statement assuring the public that there won't be any power cuts until Thursday, the 27th of January.
According to the available data, we analyzed and we decided that since we have enough supplies of necessary oils, there should not be any room for any power cuts. Therefore, until 27th, we have not allowed any power cuts to be taken place, and therefore public has nothing to get panic or maybe worried about having scheduled power cuts for next 3 days. After 3 days, we will again analyze the situation with availability of fuel and we will make our decisions, but probably with the availability of fuel and supplies that we get, I don't think that in the near future there will be any power cuts according to the data that we have received.
In a statement issued today, the PUCSL stated that it was confident that power will be supplied uninterrupted once Unit 3 of the Norachole power plant, that is currently undergoing renovations, resumes generation before the end of this month. What's more, it says that steps have already been taken to make use of the state-owned and privately owned generators as a medium-term solution. According to the entity, using such generators could have a capacity of over 3,000 megawatts. Meanwhile, Minister of Power Gamini Lokuge has warned of disciplinary action against the CB Engineers Union over its public announcements of scheduled power cuts last afternoon. The Electricity Users Association has also joined in the call for legal action against the Engineers Union.
Now then, representatives of the country's renewable energy sector are calling on the government to fast-track renewable energy projects that are already in the pipeline as a solution to the country's energy crisis. Speaking at a media briefing today, they also called on the government to start the ball rolling on a switch to energy that isn't held hostage by fossil fuel imports.
As Sri Lanka faces an energy crisis that promises to present the public with even more challenges this year, the government is left with a delicate balancing act in terms of keeping Sri Lanka's lights on. Right now, the island is juggling a crippling foreign exchange dearth, empty fuel tanks for its main power generation plants, and a much more challenging environment for finding short-term funding solutions. Going by yesterday's data, Sri Lanka required 2,527 megawatts of power to be generated to keep household and industries powered. Of this amount, only 68 megawatts was met through renewable energy sources such as solar, wind and biogas. According to local renewable energy industry experts, the government needs to look at this as an opportunity. Speaking at a joint press conference today, representatives of 5 renewable energy-related associations called on the government to start the ball rolling on a switch to energy that isn't held hostage by fossil fuel imports. They say that the cost benefits which compared to coal needs to be given serious consideration as well.
The increase is marginal, not like coal. It's about, I could say, less than 10%. So it's very well within the margins. The price is still well below the CB selling price.
And also it's an improving technology. So we don't foresee a huge incremental cost when we are implementing it long term like coal, where, as Manjula said, it continues to go up. But solar prices, because the technology is also evolving, risk එකක් නැහැ සෝලසම්.
They explained that given Sri Lanka's current crisis, the door should be thrown open to new projects to be fast-tracked into implementation in the shortest possible time.
Because you see, end of the day, as stakeholders, we also have lot of input to be given. We have faced all the hardships. You see, the simple fact to secure a government line in Sri Lanka, the amount of time it takes. So if there is no priority line, if there is no special committee, a high-powered committee to look into these projects and fast-track these projects, then we are still talking and no action.
That's why we are also asking the same question from the government. When the solution is here, why not implement it?
Industry expert Manjula Pereira, secretary of the Wind Power Developers Association, added that all government needs to do right now is to just fast-track the current projects in the pipeline.
They have taken few steps like the expression of interest, the feed-in tariff, tendering process. But the issue is now they have to fast-track those because there is a crisis. They take the normal path, it will take another 2-3 years at least to award these projects to us. So if they immediately take steps, we can immediately start these projects.
Meanwhile, industry expert Kushan Jayasuriya says that the government's first step should be to amend the current CB generation plan and lay the groundwork for the industry.
First, this has to go through the CEB gen to be documented as maybe law or whatever. Otherwise, it will go back and forth. So if the generation plan supports only 50% at the moment, then all what we're talking now is going to be futile. So I think we are hoping that the generation plan of the CEB will support the 70%, which will then be ratified by PUCSL. That should be the prime objective at this stage so that we can implement this without much hindrance.
Now then, the proposed digital wallet by the Ministry of Technology, included in its 30-month roadmap, is expected to provide a host of benefits to the general public in the future. According to the Minister of Youth and Sports and State Minister of Digital Technology, Namal Rajpaksha, the digital wallet will also look at creating a paperless e-government service.
What is a digital wallet? Well, according to supporters of the new technology, it's supposed to allow an individual to carry around with them all their important personal information in a digital format. In developed countries such as Australia and the United States, the use of digital wallets have become common for users now used to a contactless experience in their transactions. This includes online transactions such as purchases and will literally eliminate the need for anyone to carry physical documentation as long as they have their digital copy saved. The European Union too recently announced their plans last year in releasing a digital identity wallet after its experiences with the COVID-19 pandemic. And now, Sri Lanka too is considering embracing the technology, according to State Minister of Digital Technology, Namal Rajapaksa.
Our digital roadmap is to introduce a national digital unique ID card with biometrics, facial recognition and eye scanning. We will connect all citizen-centric services to the digital ID card, including the national driving license, passport and birth certificate, educational certificate and all the citizen service requirements. So we are on process of getting cabinet approval for the national unique digital ID card. And in the first quarter of this year, we should be able to get it rolling. So along with that, we have a roadmap of 30 months to expand it up to a digital wallet. In a way, we will be looking at moving into a paperless government. The purpose of digital wallet is get all citizen-centric services under one belt. So that includes payments as well, and also it includes the subsidies that is being given by the government. This is a wallet with total comprehensive information or services.
The minister also outlined the benefits that a digital wallet could bring to the public.
As you know now, if you want to put your child to a school, you have to go to about 10 departments to get different documents. So this will cut all that down. On the other hand, if you are an entrepreneur, if you want to apply for entrepreneurship loan, so this will have your credit score as well. This will create more awareness among the public also to use the existing banking system for transactions. So in that way, your credit score will be much better and you will be able to apply for different loan schemes.
We will see you shortly on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
Big 3.
Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, the Federation for Environment, Climate and Technology says that the air quality in many of the country's urbanized and industrialized cities are reportedly worsening day by day. However, the Federation's researchers say that the public can avoid any respiratory issues if they continue to wear face masks.
Access to good quality water, air and healthy food is a basic requirement of every human being in order to stay in good health. This is also the requirement stipulated by the Sustainable Development Goal number 3, which focuses on ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being for all. However, the quality of air in some of the most urbanized and industrial cities in Sri Lanka aren't very helpful to this cause. According to the Federation for Environment, Climate and Technology, the air quality around such areas are only worsening day by day. The air quality in Sri Lanka cities are measured using a metric known as PM2.5, or particulate matter with a diameter of 2.5. Particulate matter refers to matter that contains microscopic solids or liquid droplets, so small that they can be inhaled and can lead to serious health problems. The air quality index is calculated after considering 4 major air pollutants such as ground level ozone, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. The Federation's latest air quality report for the week from the 17th to the 23rd of January concluded that except for Nuwara and Digana, all other areas recorded air quality indices above the permissible level. An expert at the Federation explained how far bad air quality can affect a person's health.
The inhaled particles can reside on your lungs and it can cause various problems to your respiratory system, and respiratory system issues causes some problems in blood circulation also. So if you do not take preventive measures for this cause, it will get very worse. It will cause many problems in the future. It varies from coughing to lung cancers.
Aditya also explained the reasons behind the rise in bad air quality in the country.
Deforestation and fossil fuel burning is a main concern of the air quality getting worse. So if we can take actions to prevent those from happening, we can get the air quality into a better place.
Nevertheless, Aditya explained that the COVID preventive measure of wearing face masks is also giving people some protection against inhaling some of these toxic air particles.
Deputy Director General of Education and Research at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Hemant Herath, says that recent sample testing are indicating that the Omicron variant is rapidly catching up in the country. In the meantime, the World Health Organization has warned against being lulled into a false sense of security by believing that the Omicron variant is the last COVID variant, adding that there is always room for another. Since the 19th of January, the number of COVID-19 cases in the country have stayed above the 800 mark, a marked increase in daily cases. Yesterday, the daily caseload detected stood at 877, and today it increased to 891.
And also the number of cases reported has been in a way attributed to the increase of Omicron percentage among the COVID-19 positive patients. And this has been one of the phenomena that has been observed in many other countries a few weeks ago compared to Sri Lanka. Probably the current sample testing indicates that almost the Omicron variant has been catching up and probably replaced by the Delta variants in the country, and the percentage is gradually going up.
Meanwhile, as Omicron dominates other variants spreading across the globe, Chief of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, warns people about believing that Omicron will be the last COVID variant, saying that it could be dangerous.
There are different scenarios for how the pandemic could play out and how the acute phase could end. But it's dangerous to assume that Omicron will be the last variant or that we are in the end game. On the contrary, globally, the conditions are ideal for more variants to emerge. To change the course of the pandemic, we must change the conditions that are driving it.
However, the WHO chief says he is optimistic of exiting the acute phase of the pandemic this year if proper measures are put in place by countries.
If countries use all of these strategies and tools in a comprehensive way, we can end the acute phase of the pandemic this year. We can end COVID-19 as a global health emergency, and we can do it this year.
Despite this, Sri Lanka still remains slightly behind the 70% mark, but still somewhat close at 63.4% as of yesterday. As for the third or the booster dose, only 4,952,642 persons have turned up to get it so far. With studies showing the effectiveness of the booster against Omicron and COVID complications, it remains a must to get the public enthusiastic about getting the jab. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now then, the month of November last year saw a huge increase of 54.6% in exports, notching up $1.211 billion. That brings the cumulative export figures for the January to November period to $11.345 billion, which is a 24.9% improvement.
Earnings from exports in November 2021 recorded the highest monthly export value in the history, while marking the sixth consecutive month of above $1 billion of exports. Earnings from exports in November 2021 grew by 54.6% over November 2020 to reach $1.211 billion and surpassed the previous highest value recorded in October 2021 of $1.2 billion. Increases in earnings were observed across all main categories, while industrial exports mainly contributed to the expansion. Cumulative export earnings, which increased by 24.9% during January to November 2021 over the same period of the last year, amounted to $11.345 billion. Meanwhile, import expenditure also increased at a higher rate in November 2021. Reflecting the favorable impact of increased imports, the merchandise trade deficit narrowed to $553 million in November 2021 compared to $600 million in November 2020. Tourist arrivals meanwhile continued to gather momentum with a notable increase over the previous month, showing strong signs of revival.
Now then, the Colombo Bourse ended in the negative today as the ASPI ended at 173.94 points lower to end at 13,210.17, while the S&P SL20 index of more liquid stocks fell by 92.09 points to end at 4,534.94 points. Market turnover for the day stood at 6 billion rupees. Now with that, here's Dimantha Matthew with a brief report on today's market performance.
The ASPI declined by 174 points with the index around the 13,200 mark, and then the S&P SL20 also declined by over 100 points, down by 111 points to be exact. This is basically a signal that we are having some serious selling pressure in the market, and basically the continuous uptrend is sort of coming to an end with this, and we are seeing overall selling pressure across the board today. We had some interest in the plantation companies. Selected companies were on the positive side. That's mainly because of the tea, rubber, palm oil segments. All three are strong in their prices, and especially palm oil has been significantly moving up in price and currently also trading at an all-time high price. So plantation segment, there is continued interest moving on.
In the meantime, the rupee once again remained unchanged at 202.99 cents against the US dollar. Now let's take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee fared against other major currencies during the day. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.